Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Remember this video, and maybe in about a week or so I'll come back and mention something. You know, there's a part of me and a part of the journey that we've all been going through that I haven't really talked about or even shared, and yet it's probably one of the most, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say life-changing, but it's not even life-changing. It's more, it's life-empowering, but, I'm going to dive into it. I can't find like the right word or phrase for it. Really simply put, it's being a real mother effing resilient person. Just be resilient beyond any expectation, beyond any belief. Just be resilient, bounce back regardless. When I was a kid, when I got involved in school and sports, what I mean is when I was in second grade, I made a decision I was going to get really good grades. And then I got into boxing about a year later, and there's something that happened was I didn't want anyone to come to me and say, you didn't work hard enough, you didn't do enough homework, you didn't do your homework last night, you didn't run the extra mile, you didn't whatever. So if my coach told me to run 2 miles, I ran 4. If my coach told me to do 3 sets of 25 sets repetitions of push-ups and sit-ups, I would do 50, and I would do five sets. Eventually I got up to running 7 miles a day in the morning before school and doing over 200 push-ups, 200 sit-ups, 200 jumping jacks. The reason why I'm sharing this with you is not to impress you, but it's because nobody, not a single person in the crowd, not the referee, not the judges, not my coaches, not their coaches, there's not a single person that could have even thought, oh, he didn't do the work, he didn't put it in. There's something that I didn't hear until years and years, decades later at a Tony Robbins seminar, and it was no excuses. And that's what I lived by when I was a little kid. From second grade on, I was going to do every single thing in my power to get straight A's and to win that state championship. So growing up, it was a pretty brutal life. I know you guys on here have heard it, but what happened was I never stopped. It didn't matter if they hit me with baseball bats. It didn't matter if they literally, my brother stabbed me in the chest twice when I was in my sleep 2 different times. And I'll give you one example. My mother came in. Now I'm a little kid. I'm about probably 4th grade, I think. And I woke up screaming, and my mom comes in. She goes, "What are you screaming about?" And a knife is sticking out of my chest and blood's running down my chest. And I'm like, I looked at it and I looked at her. She goes, "Oh, just pull it out." And she goes, "And don't scream or I'll give you something really to scream about." So like I had a really rough childhood. Now you might think, well, so you weren't getting good grades then? No, I was getting straight A's. I was harassed every day, every night, every morning. It was constant. They wouldn't let me sleep. I mean, whenever I had a boxing event, they would keep me up all night for like the last 3 or 4 nights. They would take turns banging on pants and doing stuff like that. I mean, this went on my entire life until I finally moved away. And I did move away twice, and then my mother convinced me to move back in when I was about 20, 21. That's when I got into kickboxing, and they literally would do the same thing. My brother, the night before a national kickboxing event, he just came up to me. I was talking to some friends outside, and he came up and he side-kicked me in the knee and bent my knee backwards and damaged it. And I fought the fight, with that. And then that night, the night before, they were banging pans and banging on my door and, just turning on the lights, flicking them on and off. It's because they didn't want me to win. So win anyways. Do your homework anyways. Get the straight A's anyways. Succeed anyways. I'm going to share a little bit more with you. So my best friend died when I was 19 years old in Napa, and I just went back home that summer from college. And him and 3 other friends died. It was a really big deal because we were this group of people, especially in Napa back then. I think it was only about 38,000 or something. So it wasn't a big town. And everyone knew who we were. It was a huge, devastating impact on the community. And it was a really, really, really sad thing. At this point, I think I had like 15 or 16 friends that died between 9th grade and 12th grade. Now, we had just graduated about a year and a half before that. So I dealt with a lot of death in my life, and it was very kind of almost back to back. So you would think this would be a time when people would be like, you know what, I'm going to be kind to you. I'm going to give you a break. No, that was the time when they pushed on the pedal, when they really pushed it. that was the time when they poured on the attacks. And when I say they, I mean all of them. Now I'm talking kind of fast because it's really not about this. This isn't a woe is me story. Do not think that, and do not say, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't want to hear it. I have a purpose. So 2 or 3 days later after they died, when the families invited everyone over, it was at my best friend Marlon's house. So with his mother, parents, sister, brothers, another sister, and friends from high school. It's all kinds of people from the neighborhood. It was packed house, front, back, inside, backyard, pool. And the phone rings, and his mom, my friend who died, picks up the phone and hands it to me. And she wraps her arms around me, and she's leaning on my shoulder and listening to the conversation, assuming they're going to say something nice. No, not at all. It was my girlfriend. And she said, yeah, I'm calling to break up with you. Now, she was in Southern California going to USC. And I'm like, oh, I guess you didn't hear what's going on in Napa. She goes, oh, no, I heard. I'm like, no, you wouldn't be calling me right now and do this right now. And she goes, no, Monica just called me. Monica was her best friend. She goes, my best friend Monica called me and told me that your best friend Marlon died. And I was like, so you know? She goes, yeah, that's why I'm calling to break up with you. Marlon's mom, Mrs. Pilling, she burst out in tears. And I mean, it wasn't a scream, but it was like a howl. And she just went running through the kitchen, up through the front and up the stairs and just crying. And my ex-girlfriend was like, who's that? I go, Marlon's mom was listening to the conversation. She goes, what? I'm like, yeah. And I helped her deal with her brother's death 4 years before that. I helped her. I was there through thick and thin and helped her get through it. So shortly after, I went on to win a national championship in kickboxing. My point, do it anyways. Stop being a wimp. No excuses. I don't care if you got ran over by a car. I don't care what's going on in your life. Screw them. If people are being mean to you, fight back. Call the police. Get a lawyer. Put pressure on them. Go after them. See how they like it. The only reason why bullies keep bullying you, and we are talking about narcissists because we have discovered, well, who are the bullies? Narcissists. The only reason why they keep harassing you is because you let them. You don't attack back. The only thing they learn is when you fight back. Then they're like, oh shit, yeah, I don't want this pressure. I don't want this action. And they don't. They don't want you going around telling the neighborhood what they are. They don't. Just do it. Tell every single person in the neighborhood. And I tell you what, people will start paying attention to everything they do, everything they say, and the things they've done in the past. And they'll be like, And they'll start talking to each other. Report things to the manager. You're getting harassed at where you work, go to the manager. If they're not working it, go to the supervisor. If they're not doing it, get a lawyer. When I got ran over, that was probably one of the roughest phases in my life, because when I was weak, people came after me. And here's the thing, the people that were in my life, they just disappeared, gone. And almost all of them tried to come back. And I was just like, well, why are you calling me now? They're like, well, you better now? I'm like, well, no, I've got about another so many years to heal. Like, oh, I'll call you in 6 months. And I was like, nah, don't call me in 6 months. They're like, why? I'm like, you didn't check on me one time. The hospital called you 10 times. Well, what'd you want me to do? I go, be a friend, show up. And that was, you know what? That was a gift. It really showed me people in their true colors, but not just them, but people in my past, and also people I came across after that. I started seeing like, oh, this person doesn't give a rat's ass. They're just like, what do they call that? Oh, there's a word for it, and they apply it to the Bay Area. People here generally are kind of surface level friends. There's another word for it. So they're only there for the good times. If you're struggling, they will not come around. With those people, done. And you will find yourself a much, much more powerful person. Your life gets smoother. You're not dealing with other people's bullshit. You're not letting people come and go as they please. You're just like, nah, that's not the way it's going to work with me. You start to feel really, really, really good about yourself. Now, here's the other thing. When people really pour on the pressure and they're really going after you, and it's a group of them, multiple different people, when you're resilient as fuck, and I mean, you just don't get, God, sorry for cussing, but you just don't care. You just keep fighting back. You do anything and everything in your power to stand up, to fight back, to do whatever you have to do to make things right. They're just, here's what it is. They're just like, they're stunned. They don't understand it because they couldn't do it. And here's the interesting thing that I noticed about 5 years ago when I started doing this, like really doing this. It destroys them. They're thinking, I've thrown everything at this guy. Me and this whole group of people, we've done this, we've done that. It destroys them. It literally, they're just like, damn. And they start to realize, like, I'm nothing compared to this person. No, it's not necessarily something that I think or I'm at. No, it's because of what I saw. Another thing I will tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, something will shift eventually. Now, depending on where you are on your spiritual journey, your path, there is a phase where God, I'm going to say it this way, where God is like, oh yeah, okay, this is one. Yep, this one's solid. Because it became, okay, I got a good way to explain it. When I got ran over by the car about 16 years ago, I was in the middle of the street, face down, and when I woke up, I thought I was in bed, and I remember thinking, why is there rocks in my pillowcase? It was just, something didn't make sense, and then I was like, oh, don't move, and I knew something was off. I opened my eyes, looked around, like, yep, I'm in the middle of the street in the middle of the day. Nobody would help me. Nobody even called 911 for about 2+ hours. I don't know exactly how long, but I know it was a long time. Here's the thing, I realized I have got to get to a phone. And I remembered, like, I've got to stand up. And man, the pain, you have no idea. I stood up, and it wasn't even the pain, because I was going to try to walk across the street to knock on a door. My whole system, I just passed out. I was out cold. And luckily, some old guy did come up, and he blocked me with his car. He had a big old Cadillac. But what happened was, when I was laying on the ground, I was like, I have to do this. I have got to find, because people would pull up stop mothers with their teenage daughters, and they'd look, they'd take pictures, and zoom, they'd take off, and then another one about 10-15 minutes later. So this was in a neighborhood, literally right in front of a church, by the way. And they wouldn't help. They wouldn't call 911. They would just take pictures and talk and look at me, and boom, take off. I remember I cried out at one moment for one of them to call 911. I think I said, please call help, something like that. And I cried it out, and they just, boom, they took off. And I was crying, thinking, what am I going to do? And I was like, I have to get up. Now, even though I failed, here's what happened. That got locked into me so solid, so hard, that I've lived my every day of my life like that. Something shifted, like, I have to do this. No one else is going to help. It is an awesome place to live. If you guys are taking, oh, I feel so sorry, that's not what this message is about. This is, I'm telling you, I feel so good about myself. You know, I'm going to say it again. The worst thing in my life that happened to me was the best thing that ever happened. It changed everything. It took over 10 years just to talk normal again and to be able to exercise. At least 10 years, if not more. But the resiliency, the determination, the just one step at a time. I mean, I remember one day I finally got to the point where I could walk from my front door through the living room to the sliding glass door. And then I got to do it there and back. And then my goal was to do it 10 times there and back. And after, I don't know if it was a year or how long, I will tell you what, the first couple years, driving to the grocery store, getting out of my car and going into the store, shopping, and then having enough strength to get back to my car was almost an impossibility. I literally struggled to do that for up to about probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years. You just don't stop no matter what. Remember this video, maybe in about a week or two I'll explain something. So you know how narcissists and these kind of people, like, they're always trying to pull you down, knock you down. It destroys them. You're not doing anything to them, but it destroys them when you keep getting back up. They're just like, I don't understand this. Like, I couldn't do that. Like it doesn't make sense. Just keep getting back up. Keep moving forward. So I don't like drugs or medication, stuff like that. So here's what I did. I remember the first day home, I had a pill, hydrocodone, and I took it, and I was like, whoa, I'm supposed to take 2-3 times a day and 4 times a day if necessary. And I was like, whoa, I mean, talking about no worries, everything was great. One pill for about a day and a half or 2 days. So when the pain started coming back the next day, maybe later on in the day, I was like, nah, I don't need a whole pill. So I broke it down to half. So instead of doing 6 or 8 a day, I was down to, I already in one day was like doing half. I realized in that moment, like, oh, this is why people get addicted to pain pills. Because for the life of me, I'm like, why? Like, well, what would make you think, hey, let's go get some pain pills and get high? Like, it didn't make sense to me. But damn, I never realized these kind of pain pills, right? And all your worries go away. There's no worries. I knew right then and there, if I kept doing these things, I was going to get addicted. So then what I did is I started taking a half of a pill every 5th day. I mean, I'm talking within the first week I started doing this. And then it was half a pill for a week, and then it was every other week, and it was just to get me through the pain. I was like, I can deal with this pain. And then I completely stopped. And I mean, in less than 2 months, maybe even not even a month, I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. And then it was I would take half a pill every 2 weeks. And then about the 2nd month, I just completely stopped. Now here's the deal. There was a point about the 2nd year, maybe 3rd or 4th year, but it was long down the road where I was in excruciating pain. I had this, there's like 3 positions I could sleep in, very awkward, but I had to because of my broken bones and the injuries. And I remember crying because of the pain, and I wasn't taking any pain pills. My doctors was more than willing to offer pain pills, so I was like, no, I'm going to deal with the pain. Not to be a tough guy, because I didn't want to get addicted. So here's the deal. I started crying and crying and crying, and then I started laughing hysterically. And I mean, it was like I started laughing at the pain. Something massively shifted in me. I was just like, I don't care. You just stop caring. You laugh at it. It's because when you suffer pain so much, it just doesn't matter. You're like, this is just life. I just kept plowing forward. 2nd year, 3rd year, I think it was the 4th year or more, I couldn't even jog 1 block. It was insane what this did to me. But I didn't stop. I didn't give a shit. I would just push it and push it and push it. I don't care if I could only walk half a block away and back. That's what I did. There was a moment when I almost quit, and I posted something on Facebook. It really wasn't about that, but someone who's a coach, Danny Bam Bam Stell, he's a IKF, he was the vice president, and he's a professional referee in boxing and kickboxing, Muay Thai. And he sent me a personal message, and he goes, don't give up, Mike. He goes, just keep going. It was enough to keep me going, because that was a point when I was like, man, all these years and this is all I got. And man, I tell you what, I'm so glad I kept going. I'm at a point now where I'm riding that fixie bike with 1 big gear on it, and from here to Golden Gate Bridge and back, and people are just like, how the hell are you doing that? Someone who's in shape and strong can't do that. Now, it's a bike with 1 gear. You don't have like 10 different gears to go up and down. There's no easy thing with this at all. So here's my point in all of this. It's resilience. You build resilience. You build motivation. You build inspiration. You build internal strength. This isn't a gift from the gods. And that's what I'm trying to say. You built it. It is literally a muscle. It might be a chemical muscle, but it's something that you build. Let me say it again in case any of you missed it. It's something you build, you push, you make it. You are not born with it. It is not a gift from the gods. You're cold, so what? You're tired, so what? You're in pain, so what? Get on it. Go after it. Push it. That's the thing. You just stopped caring about all the little mamby-pamby nanny BS. You know what I used to do? I made a couple of videos. I would take an ice cold shower. Now where we live, we get the coldest water here. I mean, it is freaking cold. I would take these ice cold showers, and when it was like 26 degrees, I would go out in shorts and a t-shirt, and I would go hiking. Go beyond, beyond, beyond. Write that down. Push yourself beyond any possible expectation of anyone else that would have an expectation of you. Push yourself so far that they're like, damn. Push yourself beyond any expectation. Period. Write that down. By the way, this guy's the referee. His name is Danny Bam Bam Stell. This guy has cornered some of the greatest fighters in the world. This guy is at the top of his division, the top of his field in refereeing. This guy has been around for like 40 years or more. Never quit. No matter what, just keep going. Keep looking for other options, other possibilities, new ways, figuring things out, try different things, do whatever you have to do, figure it out. Keep pushing, keep trying different things, new things, ask people questions. Just do it, find a way. You begin to gain a confidence that you never knew was there. And each time you confront someone, each time you take action, calling a manager, calling the police, doing whatever, suddenly you start to learn the system. You start figuring out how things work, and then you start to understand, and then you start to gain confidence. So when I said I started laughing at my pain, I was crying, I was in so much pain years and years later. It was just unbelievable pain. It also happens with the shame and humiliation. Here's what happens. They shame you, they humiliate you, and they do it on purpose. What ends up happening is it just becomes like, yeah, it's just the way it is. These people are weird, they're like that. And I promise you, you're going to get to a point where you just don't care anymore. It's because you see them for who and what they are. They're little people. They live in absolute fear of humiliation themselves. They're insecure, so they got to attack someone around them that is greater than them or they see as greater than them, even though you've done nothing to them. And this is just the way life is. I promise you, you're going to start going, man, these are some really insecure people that do something like this. You start to see how scared they are. You start to see how much shame they have. One moment, I just looked at this one person who'd been harassing me. I just looked at them in a very open way, and that's all it was. I wasn't staring them down, and they cowered. And I'm like, wait, what's going on here? They were like, and I realized what it was. It's like I saw them. They're terrified of being seen beyond their mask. They're terrified of someone just opening their eyes and just taking one good look. That was another shift that I had. I was like, wow, I just looked at them. We weren't having a bad conversation, nothing at all. And I was like, oh, I get it. Like you hear about how the narcissists hide behind a mask. They do. They're terrified of being seen. It reveals them. It reveals them in front of everyone that you're around. And every time you walk around them from that point forward, they get revealed and they know it. And the people around them go, wait, I thought this person was impervious. I thought this person was, yeah, it's all an act. It's all this confident, raw, loud talk and act. I'll give you another thing I did. When I was a kid in boxing, we had, it was winter. I was sick. I had I think it was 102.5 degree temperature. And I went running in the snow at night. It was freezing cold. And I mean, we're talking like probably 9 degrees or 6 degrees or something. And I'm running on the sidewalk in the snow. Because I remember thinking, what if I go to a fight, a competition, and I'm sick? What am I going to do? Just quit, give up, let myself get beat up? What if I can train more intensely when I'm just deathly ill? Then at that point, no matter what happens, I could show up at any boxing match, and for that three rounds or 5 rounds or how many rounds I was doing, I could suck it up and I could blast through that, and then I could collapse afterwards. By the time I got to high school, I remember high school wrestling, we did a tournament in Reno during the winter. It was the same thing. Me and the other captain, we were sick. I mean, really sick, throwing up sick. We had fevers, and I don't mean like 101 degrees. I mean, it was like 102, 103. And there was never any question. Even our coaches, they never even thought that, well, we're going to pull you out. Like, no. And we both won. Now, here's the deal. Even if we didn't win, it wouldn't have mattered because we were resilient. There's just some kind of strength and power. I'll tell you what it is. You learn something when you start to fight people, when you don't back down. People that are bullies, people that like to take advantage of your weakness, when you don't back down, they don't like that. It's like fighting, let's say you're a 200-pound man, and yet you come across it's in the badger family now. Badgers, now when I lived in Wisconsin, this is where I heard about it. My dad was like, do not touch a badger. I'm like, Dad, but they're really small. They're like 20 or 30 pounds, 40 at most. He goes, Michael, they will shred you. Do not come near those things. Well, a honey badger is in the same family, and they're even more intense. They're little dudes. They're like, actually, hold on. Yeah, so they are approximately 22 to 30 inches long, and they weigh between 13 and 30 pounds maximum. These little things fight. These guys fight lions and they win. And I am not joking. Lions will not mess with them because these things are just tough and they bite and they scratch and they claw and they don't care. Every animal knows you don't mess with a badger, and you definitely don't mess with a honey badger. So be the honey badger. Stop caring. If something messes with you, like, oh, okay, is that what time it is? Let's go. And I think I just said the real secret. That's what I came across a few years back. When you legitimately stop caring, that's when they're like, oh shit. Because you can't do something or anything to someone who just doesn't care. And that's the honey badger's strength. It's not its size, it's not its weight, it's not its muscle strength. It just doesn't care. It doesn't stop. See, one thing I learned in fighting was, I remember I was really good. I pretty much dominated people at one point in my career when I was a kid. But there was this one kid. He wasn't strong. He wasn't as good as I was. But the kid wouldn't stop, because I thought I was going to walk in there and just win that fight easily. And it was a boxing match, and I won by 1 point. And I was like, damn. And my coach goes, see, Mikey, I told you, you cannot let off the gas. There's some people that just will come after you, and that kid did. He didn't have the skills, he didn't have the endurance, but damn, that kid wouldn't stop. And then I ran into a kid in wrestling, same thing. He was nowhere near as good as me. But man, he just wouldn't stop. Those are the toughest matches. When you get in fights with people that don't stop, they're going to punch you, they're going to kick you, they're going to scratch you. You are going to know that you are in a fight. And let me tell you something about bullies and narcissists. They don't like that. They experience that one time. They're like, oh, I thought you were a wimp. Oh, okay, yeah, sorry, I got the wrong person. And they move on. All right, I'm going to admit something that I've been doing for a long, long time. I am a super nice guy, super nice. And let me tell you something. That's what narcissists go after. But they don't realize, even if I tell them, oh yeah, I was a champion boxer, champion wrestler, champion this, wrestled Division II, studied, this martial art, this, that, boxing champion, blah, blah, blah. It's like, because you're nice to them, they kind of like, their brain can't understand. Now, if you punch them, they're like, oh shit, this guy's tough. But if you tell them you're tough, it doesn't, for some reason, in the narcissist brain, it doesn't register. Because they're betting on, well, yeah, you might be a champion of boxing, but you're not going to do anything, not outside of the ring. So I'm not saying you have to resort to punching someone at all. I am not saying that. Here's the funny thing, because they think you're not even going to verbally stand up to yourself. And let me tell you something, that is something they do not like. When you stand up to them and you don't back down verbally, man, that just makes them really uncomfortable. They're like, they're gone. And they'll test you down the road. You just keep doing it. Like, nope. 100% of the time for the rest of their life, you're going to get like that. Period. End of sentence. Done. And when they realize that, they're like, oh shit, they're not backing down. Because they try to come in and, the Hoover maneuver you, try to suck you back in, try to buy you gifts and do the mini love bomb. And they're trying to see if they can do it again and sucker you into submit. And you're like, nope. Slam the door in their face. Call the police. Block them. Do whatever you got to do. Do not stop. Be resilient. And in the meantime, go after your dreams and be relentlessly resilient. Just keep going. Plow. Push it. Learn, read, ask questions, go to seminars, buy home study programs like Tony Robbins, buy his books. You are going to find answers that you didn't even know there were questions to. And that's what I call being awesome. This is not a channel for the mamby-pambies that think, oh, I wasn't born that way. None of us are. You can build yourself into being a frickin' tank. Push-ups, sit-ups, boxing, kickboxing, stretching, lifting weights. Do whatever you can do right now. Start right now. You break your leg, get a cast on it. Get back to work. The doctors will say, oh, just don't do anything for about a week or two. No. Do what you can, even if it's only 15 minutes of work, even if it's only getting a couple things done for an hour on a computer or whatever, reading a book, reading a chapter. Do something. Do anything. Keep moving forward. That is the secret of life right there. Movement. A lot of people don't realize that that's all it is. Movement gets you motivated. Movement gets you inspired. Movement loosens things up. It gets you going. It gets your juices flowing. Sure, you sleep at night. You get 6-7 hours of sleep. You start going again. You take a nap, take a nap. But get back on it. Move, walk, talk, read. Start doing things. Move forward. This is what builds up your self-esteem, your self-respect. It builds up your confidence. Sitting on your ass, doing nothing, giving up, and just complaining, that's the problem right there. Move. Anything. Start somewhere. Read a book. Read one page. Start. You know, a good place to start, sincerely, if you've been hurt emotionally in relationships, for men, buy my book, Crack the Female Code. Women, you can buy that book too. I've had a few women buy it and they were blown away when they read that book. For women, buy my book, Why Men Just Don't Get It, and Every Woman's Battle, The Need for Love and Emotional Fulfillment. Those are 2 short books, approximately 60 pages each. They're going to change your life. Let me read something that Kyle flew out from Utah. He said, I flew out from Utah. After reading Mike's book, Crack the Female Code, I had a powerful experience. I opened up, and it made it really easy to meet women. But then I closed up again, so I read it a second time, and meeting women became easy and fun again. I can't explain it. This is something you have to experience. Now, we did an interview. There's a testimonial video that he did, and he talks about, it wasn't even about women. It was just about, he said something about the book opened me up. He goes, it's the closest thing that I've ever had to actually being spiritual. He goes, it just shifts you into something else. So to wrap up a couple thoughts that I've put in this video is, one of the things, now I don't really do it on purpose, but it's just kind of my nature just to be nice to people. And I can start seeing like, oh, they think I'm weak. Because this is the weird thing about narcissists. They're missing some kind of judgment thing where they can't realize, like, just because you're being nice, this is a badass. This is someone you should not mess with. So I'm nice to them. And they always come after me. And then I lower the boom. I lower the hammer. And every time they're just shocked, like, whoa, like, and they even feel like, well, you suckered me in. I didn't suck you in. I was nice, I was kind, I was polite, I was respectful, and you took that as, oh, that guy's weak, I can hurt him. No, you cannot. I'll tell you another thing I started doing. It was in my mid-30s, I think. When I started realizing this game was going on, when people would start taking advantage of my kindness, thinking, oh, he's weak, I can damage him, I can get over him, I can do this, I would wait. I would look for opportunities to verbally hammer people and just catch them off guard and just call it on them, call it loud, throw it in their face, and don't back down and don't do the negotiate. Well, yeah, but you, fuck you. And I would just be like yelling, like, you know, and they're like, oh shit, he's not falling for him again. Nope, not at all. And they're like, oh damn. Stop being nice to people who are not nice to you. That's one thing you need to learn right now. If someone hurts you, someone does something that's messed up, don't ever be nice to them again. Period. That's what they're looking for. And when they realize you're not going to... See, here's what happens. If you're nice to them again, they're like, oh, this person's a sucker. And then they keep coming after you. Here's the other thing that I learned. When people give you opportunities to go after them like they did something wrong and you hammer them, everybody else around you sees that and goes, oh man, can't mess with that guy. And if you don't, then they're like, oh, I could totally mess with that person. Then all of a sudden you got all these individual people messing with you and you can't figure out why. Because you're not standing up for yourself. You know, one of the greatest things you can do, it just blew my mind, because I just got to like the end of my wits and I was like, I was just done. I didn't try to talk to these people. I just stopped. I stopped looking at them. I stopped acknowledging their hellos. I just stopped. And I was like, oh, wow, this feels great. See, that's what I'm saying right there. You don't even have to yell at people. You can just stop, just completely be done with them. And I am telling you, it shocks the shit out of people. And that's literally what something inside me shifted when I realized, like, there's nothing I can do here. So I just completely stopped. And that's what happened. Like, it's the honey badger thing. I just didn't care. I don't care. Now, I'm not like a... I don't care. No, I don't mean that from a fake, false ego. I just, like, something inside was just gone. Like, I just don't care. Do whatever you're going to do. And then they're like, damn, nothing's bothering this guy. Because when you literally stop caring inside, it shifts the whole game. And then all of a sudden you start catching your body doing it unconsciously, where someone's rude to your store, rude to you at the store, you just walk down another aisle, you just walk across the thing, or you walk out of the store, you leave your grocery cart there, screw it, I'll just go to another store. Like, you just start doing this. Now here's the interesting thing that starts to happen. You start to find freedom from all this BS. You start to find your happiness. And people start to see this. Weirdest thing in the world, like I'm in a store, so I could see someone coming, they got some BS going on, I just walk away, walk down the aisle, or I'll even leave the store. And the funny thing is my body does it on its own now. Like, whoa, what's this? Like, oh, that's really cool. There's no stress, there's no worry. And that's the thing, those kind of people want to suck you into their drama. When you just walk away, well, what can they do? And if they come after you, oh, now it's open season. Game time. That's what you guys need to do. You need to start putting on your game faces. You need to stop smiling at people and stop being so damn nice. Especially the people that are not damn nice to you. Be nice to those people. The damn nice people. The people that are damn nice to you. Be nice to those people. Trust me, your whole world shifts. This is a shift that will rock your world. You'll be like, I did not know life could be this good. You know what? Take a fighting class. Take boxing. Take a kickboxing class. Screw it. Learn how to actually fight. Even if you don't spar or compete, start throwing punches. Learn how to wrestle. You know, they're all over the world now. Start lifting weights. Start doing push-ups. Start pushing yourself. At least learn how to throw a punch. An overhand right, a jab, a left hook, and a right hook. Learn how to punch. It's empowering. It makes you feel good. So it's there if you need it. I'm 56 years old. I'm going to be 57 in about, I think, 2 weeks, depending on when this comes out. It doesn't matter. People look at me like, how did you get in such good shape? I am in phenomenal fight shape right now. It's incredible. I just keep pushing myself. Get on it. Go after your dreams. Go after your life. Just be relentless. If you need to take a nap, take a nap. You need to rest, take some rest. You need to sleep, get some sleep. There's nothing wrong with taking a break, but just don't stop for 2 days or 5 days straight. Just don't do it. You got to get the movement going, even if it's only a 6-minute walk, a 10-minute walk. While you're walking, take some deep breaths in your nose, deep breaths in your nose, and then breathe out your mouth. Get the oxygen flowing. Get the movement going. Do a little bit of stretching. You don't have to be a yoga master. Stretch for 7 minutes. Just stretch lightly. Stretch easily. Just something. All I know is something shifted in me about 3 months ago, and I am telling you, someone said, I forget your name now, but I put it in the past video, it's like grace. I'm just happy. You know, someone like literally cussed at me for no reason. They were in a poopy mood, and they're riding their bike, get out of the way, and they said F you, and I didn't even look. I wasn't even looking. I was looking out over the Golden Gate Bridge. I was all the way up against the fence. I wasn't even on the bridge. I was like a half mile away up against this fence. And there's this huge wide space that you could ride, like 8 bikes wide across. And this person's they're just, thinking like no one's going to do nothing because he's probably never been punched in the nose. Well, the thing about it is, like, for the first time in my life, I didn't get mad. I just looked down like, oh, he's having a shitty day. And I thought, whoa, that's different. I didn't used to be like that before. I used to really get upset. I honestly and truly believe God gives you grace. When God sees that you're just not going to quit, there's something that comes across you. It comes over you. I don't know how to explain it. All I know, I've been living in this unbelievably blissful state. I don't mean like I'm high or but it's happiness. It's peace. There's no, like I said in my last couple of videos, there's no internal conflict. Everything is free. Emotionally free. Life's funner now than it's ever been in my life. If you need coaching, if you need help healing your emotions to gain more emotion. See, don't think of it as like you got to do it in one session. It's got to be fixed and all of it. No. Think of it as like we're going to go after some emotional freedom. Let's gain a little more. Let's heal this. Let's heal that. Let's pick one thing. Let's work on that for a while. Let's work on this. Things will shift. Go to mike@mikekollin.com. I want to tell you something. There are some people, when they hear this video, they're going to be pissed that I'm on top right now. They do not like that. And you know what? It inspires the hell out of me. Now, 5+ years ago, it would just hurt my feelings. But now, it motivates me when they look at me like they're trying to get mad. Yep, I'm just going to work that much harder, 10 times harder, 20 times harder. I don't care. I don't give a shit because I'm a honey badger. You really want to piss them off? Buy one of my books. Another way is make a donation. What I can do is take an image of it, of how much a thing comes up at my email, and it says how much in your name. I'll take an image of it and I'll show it on the screen. That pisses them off. And it helps me out. Okay. There's a PayPal link right there in the description box if you want to help this channel out. God bless you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click subscribe, click the like button, go ahead and make a comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Remember, go to MikeKollin.com. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video.